research experience?
I was a part of a study on racial disparities in healthcare until the White House cut the funding last year.
Yeah, you are not alone. Have you considered a geriatrics fellowship?
I have not.
I've seen your skills with the elderly, and there are a lot of openings. It might be your best shot. Think about it.
Mohan is now trying to plan her life not moving to New Jersey. Is any part of her happy she's staying, or at least trying to? Can she even process that at this point?
I don't think she is processing like how she feels about staying at all. I think she's so worried about not knowing what comes next. And I think so much was hinging on her going back to New Jersey. I think part of why she hasn't really socialized with many people here, hasn't formed many connections, because she thought Pittsburgh would just be this temporary place. And so I think to like realize it might not be, I think she's more focused on figuring it out than figuring out how she feels about it, which is not great. But I think she's someone who focuses a lot on the circumstances around her, as opposed to kind of going like, how am I feeling right now? So yeah, I think she's, again, worried about other things.
Al-Hashimi suggests geriatrics, but Mohan doesn't seem so sure. Like, what are the pros and cons of that for her?
I think the reason why geriatrics is such a, like, I remember playing that scene and just sort of like feeling the air go out of my body a little whenever Dr. Al-Hashimi would say that to Samira, because it just feels so not what she thought her job was ever going to be. I kind of made the decision that the fellowship that she accepted in New Jersey, or the attending position, like it was something that focused on things she was more interested in. I know her research project with racial inequities got canceled because of like funding cuts, and that's something that I know she was disappointed by. So I think she was able to find something else in that line of work, or even something like ultrasound, which she definitely feels really excited about. But I think she feels really out of her depth in, because there's people, it's such a competitive field, and there's people who have more training in it than she does. So I think geriatrics just sort of like, I like, is that what you think of me? Is that what you think I should be doing? I never considered this for myself, but I mean, I would argue she'd be pretty good at it. So yeah, I think it's just a moment of her wondering if that's where her life is going.
Especially because we saw how good she was in the middle of the mass casualty in season 1. She thrives in that chaos.
Yes, I think the chaos is really good for her, because it stops her from like overthinking. So I think it's almost, and I think even later on, Robbie says something about geriatrics. And I think she just has this moment of like, what else do I need to do to prove that I belong here? Or what else do I need to do to have you validate me that I belong here? I think it's like a very, it's like a complicated dynamic. And I think it's certainly interesting that so many people are pushing her towards this thing.
But how much weight does Al-Hashimi's opinion hold for her? Because they do have a history.
I mean, I think it holds a lot. I think I would say in a lot of ways, Dr. Al-Hashimi is more of a mentor to her than Robbie is. I think you see a lot of similarities in their characters, which is never something Seppi and I ever discussed. But I remember her coming in first day on set, and I was watching her work, and I was like, wait, this is so great, because I like just naturally I feel like such a similarity in the way our doctors operate in the world of the ER, and I was like, this is kind of amazing, because then I get to sort of like enhance what's already there in our characters and show that there is this connective tissue between them, and how Samira has learned so much from her. So yeah, I think especially for someone who's that much of a mentor for her to push her in that direction, like I think she just kind of feels like, is this really what I should be doing? And I don't think there's any shame in geriatrics. I was talking to Dr. Joe, who writes a lot of work on our show, and he was like, yeah, a lot of ER doctors do need to specialize in this, because older patients who come into the ER like need really specialized care. That's not something a lot of doctors are trained in. So I don't think it's like necessarily a bad idea. I just think she's a little thrown that that's where people think she needs to go.